In this segment, we address U.S. media imperialism through the export of movies and television, and its positive effects on world culture and the advancement of women's rights. The United States is considered by many to be the most powerful nation in the world. The U.S. has unmatched military might, unmatched technical and commercial resources, and unmatched arrogance. For these reasons and others, the U.S.'s cultural expansion into the rest of the world through the export of movies and television is feared by many and viewed as imperialism. In truth, in many ways, it is imperialism, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The U.S. was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. In its present incarnation, that has been expanded to include women, minorities, and all humans, not just Americans. That is a fantastic platform. Any action launched from that position against non-Americans instantly claims moral superiority. The marketing of these ideals and the brand imaging of America has been so successful over the last few hundred years that many Americans can't imagine existence without our basic rights. With such a powerful nation populated by individuals that so strongly identify with the ideals of pride and individual accomplishment, is it any wonder that our entertainment would reflect these values? Many in the world community do not share these ideals, and that is where some say the problem lies. Technology, specifically media technology, has advanced to a point unprecedented in history. It is now possible for people all over the world to see what the rest of the world is up to. With so many different religions and cultures, it's inevitable that there will be conflicts. Cultural diversity is important, and the differences between people should be celebrated. However, as members of the world community, we all have a responsibility to act when institutions and cultural practices infringe upon or violate the basic rights of our fellow humans. One of the most appalling issues today is that of violence against women. A group of international experts, convened by the World Health Organization in 1996, adopted the following definition as a framework for their activities. Violence against women is any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty, whether occurring in public or in private life. This encompasses violence perpetrated or condoned by religious organizations or the state. This definition is very important because many of the actions just listed are present in part or in full in many deeply held cultural and religious practices around the world. Traditional cultural practices reflect values and beliefs held by members of a community for periods often spanning generations. Some of these practices are beneficial to all members, while others are harmful to a specific group, such as women. Despite their harmful nature and their violation of international human rights laws, such practices persist because they are not questioned, and they take on an aura of morality in the eyes of those who practice them. Opponents to the U.S. films and television state that it undermines local culture and tradition, replacing these ideals with Americanism. A question that needs to be asked is, are these traditions deserving of preservation, or should they be abolished at all costs? One of the most powerful tools used in controlling people is maintaining their ignorance, and if people see no alternatives, they're less likely to question their situation. The suffering of people on the other side of the world can be witnessed by people here in America, inspiring activism, and that is good. Organizations like Roots and Shoots, Basic Rights Oregon, and Equality Now are championing the cause of equality all over the world and at home. But potentially more powerful is the flow of images and ideas going the other way. Just as Americans are able to view scenes of life abroad, the rest of the world is now given insight into American life and culture. This is where the U.S. movies and television are providing a vital service to the world community. Hollywood produces hundreds of titles each year portraying American ideals and freedoms. Though these are not always realistic or even healthy, they are alternative and progressive by comparison. Women in many American films are powerful, intelligent, and proactive. They have skills, jobs, their own money, and the ability to not just exist without a man, but to actually thrive in direct opposition to male interference. Hollywood's contribution is powerful on many levels. First, characters like Lara Croft from Tomb Raider, Elektra, Miho, and Trinity from the Matrix trilogy are eye-catching. They possess all the positive traits listed earlier, but their physical aspects are the primary focus. Most women in American films and TV are sexy, but these iconic figures' bodies and actions are exaggerated to truly monumental proportions. And this is not a bad thing. The idea left behind, after the bullets stop flying and the fires die down, is that those women kick ass. Another class of Hollywood heroine is the intellectual. She's still sexy and powerful, but she's also brilliant and possessed of great skills. These women are the scientists that create the antivirus, or the spaceship pilots that fly just as well as a man, but aren't hindered by the macho bravado. Some examples of this kind of women are Kara Thrace, and Sharon Valerii from Battlestar Galactica, and Winifred Burkle from Angel. Not all American movie heroines are young and sexy. Some are older and sexy, like Mary McDonnell in Battlestar Galactica, Meryl Streep's character, Madeline Ashton, in Death Becomes Her, or Susan Sarandon's character, Holly Baylor, in Elizabethtown. Still more powerful females in American film aren't women at all. These are the children and young adults that are forced to face great challenges before they've even grown up. The spunky and brave little wizard Hermione, or Butlar Swan, the Jedi Padawan with the unfortunate haircut in Attack of the Clones. There are other female characters that aren't human or even three-dimensional. The animated worlds of the American cinema are populated with versions of all the women listed earlier. America believes in equality, and there's no reason that chauvinistic cartoon males should be denied the right to a good butt-kicking. It's not just women and girls in these films that promote the ideal of equality between the sexes. Many U.S. films and TV shows feature enlightened men that not only respect women, but are also attracted to their power and intellect. These men promote the message in a very different way, and one that may be more easily understood in misogynistic societies. These male characters illustrate, in the words of Joss Whedon, the creator of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that men can recognize someone else's power without diminishing their own. Joss Whedon was recently honored by the organization Equality Now for his contributions in promoting strong female images in the media. As you can see, it's not just the imaginary people in Hollywood that are championing the cause and making a difference. The films are not just vehicles for the message. They are also vehicles for those who want to help. Movies and TV create celebrities, and many of these celebrities use their notoriety as a podium from which they can further promote the organizations working to fight this problem. Stars like Meryl Streep, Lauren Graham, Scott Buck, Neil Patrick Harris, and many others make special appearances at fundraisers to promote these organizations. Jane Goodall, the founder of Roots and Shoots, said at a lecture at the University of Portland in 2000, "It has been documented that in developing nations where women gain control of their reproductive rights, all aspects of society improve." Many Hollywood stars and the characters they play are all over the world setting a good example. The billions of dollars spent by foreign moviegoers in countries the world over are proof that these ideas are not being rejected. There are those fundamentalists that isolate themselves and try to isolate the women they abuse, but that is a losing strategy. The real beauty of the situation is that the U.S. will continue to produce and export these films, and the foreign masses will continue to consume them. U.S. media imperialism is not going away, and it's not something that can be ignored, especially when it's welcomed by the people being colonized. You can't stop the signal. The information will be there. Young women will see it, young men will see it, and most importantly, children will see it. Women will be humanized. Violations against them will begin to seem like violations against real people. Rape will cease to be a property crime, and women who had no voice will begin to feel entitled to liberties like access to education, land ownership, and control over their own reproductive rights. Future generations will learn to appreciate their contributions, and every aspect of society the world over will improve.